Hi, and good afternoon. Welcome to the post-GHC Hangout with the Anita Borg Institute. Today we're going to talk about how to stay connected to our ABI communities. And today we're going to have Melissa, who is the Director of Program, Curricular, and Content, and Rose, who is the Senior Program Manager of Community Engagement, join us. So they're I don't know if all of you know, but Anita Borg, we're very fortunate in the fact that some of us are able to work remotely, and Rose is not in our California office, so she is going to be presenting to you from another site, and Melissa is here on campus in our Palo Alto office, and she will be presenting from Palo Alto. So please bear with us as we work through any technical issues. I see Rose just joined us, and hi, Rose.
Hi.
So we're going to be switching back and forth, but mostly it'll be Melissa and Rose speaking with you about our ABI communities and how you can be a part of them and how you can join, and what your connection to ABI can be like in the future besides just attending GHC, which is a fantastic opportunity in itself. But there's so much more for you to be involved with if you would like. So I'm going to turn it over to Melissa and Rose, and they'll take you through everything. We do have the Q&A turned on, so if you have questions, please send the questions, and we'll try and answer those during the presentation or at the end. And of course, if we don't get to all of them, what we'll do is we can answer them offline afterwards. So welcome, and here we go.
Hello. Oh, I can use this to like fix my hair for a moment. Welcome, and I have to say, Rose and I talk a lot about the communities, and there are a lot of things going on. I don't know about Rose, but I didn't prepare slides specifically for this.
Me neither.
Rose didn't either. I thought we would talk, which is kind of what we are with the communities. And one thing I thought I would share to kind of give everybody an overview of what's going on, and I'm going to look to you to help me share it right on the screen. Are we sharing? You took the URL of this?
I did.
Okay. I thought I would share what we shared actually at GHC in the ABI booth regarding what sorts of ways of getting involved is the way I would talk about it. And some of those ways are communities, but there's other ways too of getting involved with ABI throughout the year. The Anita Borg Institute. Sorry, so I'm just going to pull that up here.
I need this to go away. So I can sneak under it again. I will do it this way.
Just share screen. No, doesn't do that.
Well, the problem is
okay.
Go to backwards. It's fine.
There you can scroll down.
Where did the... Go here. And screen share. Okay. It's not...
Yeah, so then just pull it up on the desktop and it should work. So just pull your browser window on the desktop and it should work. So just your browser.
This one?
Yeah, so that was what was in the...
Yeah, but it's sharing this. Sorry guys, hold on 1 second.
Okay. Okay, so hopefully, can everyone see the document here? Great, okay. So I thought what we could do is just sort of talk about some of the things that are going on and have been going on, but are really ramping up. I know the two probably communities that we'll talk most about are ABI.local and Sisters. So just briefly, ABI.local is really a network of locally organized communities, so having a physical presence in different cities around the world that are coming together to do an ABI.local. So it's kind of like bringing ABI to your backyard. And that's for everyone. It's for, women technologists, of course, our primary audience, but it's also women who are, touching the tech field in different ways, and male allies and others too. And then Sisters, which I know we'll get into, is really for technical women, and it's an online space.
It's not showing.
You gave this a thumbs up. Just talk about it, yeah. Okay. So sorry, we're still having. Good thing we didn't want to do slides. Okay. Well, you know what?
So it should be up now.
Okay, I'll talk about it from here. So those two communities I just mentioned really focus on women technologists and serving you all, really making sure that we're meeting your needs in different ways. We'll talk more about that. And then another initiative I think is really important to know about is Top Companies for Women Technologists. And this really focuses on the workplace. So working with organizations and looking at organizational transformation to make them more hospitable and welcoming places for women technologists. And that's a big initiative that we have here as well. And then we have corporate partners, got it now, okay, that participate with us. So organizations, again, that's an organization focus. Event sponsorship. Our Inspiring Events for Women Technologists made possible by the support of sponsors, so ways that you can sponsor things. Then volunteer opportunities. We have lots of volunteer opportunities, which the scholars will probably know a lot more about than I do, in terms of ways that you can get involved with the organization throughout the year. Of course, at Grace Hopper, we have lots of volunteers, but we also have volunteers in our communities, which we can talk a little bit more about. And then sort of a basic thing too, we have the newsletter and our social media ways. So ways you can get connected. If you get our newsletter, you can get connected of what all's happening in all of our communities. So I don't know, we could talk a little bit about, how would you like to do this, Rose? Do you want to talk about ABI.local first, or you want to talk more about Sisters?
Well, let me talk a little bit about Sisters first, and then I can, maybe it's a great segue into ABI.local.
Okay, so we'll go to Rose.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen as well in just a few minutes, but I wanted to give you an idea of what Sister is, and what we target, what we do, who we are about. Anita Borg actually created Sisters back in 1987. I have been a Sister since 2000. And it really helped me just get connected with women who have the same goals or the same interests that I do. I was actually in grad school, computer science, and I was the only woman in my department at the time, and also the only woman of color. So it was very isolating for me, and I needed a community that would help me through all of this. As you can imagine, the isolation felt heavy. I was also a mother of 2 young children, working full time, so it was very, very, and trying to get my work done, and wanted to do well in school, and because that's where I felt most comfortable. So I found Sisters. I absolutely don't know how, it just came on a search by chance, and so I've been part of this community. It really helped me. The Sisters really helped me just to realize that I was not alone, that I had a support network, and they told me about Grace Hopper Celebration. My first Grace Hopper Celebration was in Orlando in 2007, so I've been going ever since. And it was amazing because I was in the government and DoD intel space, and just seeing a whole sea of men all day, all the time, and to come to Grace Hopper to see women, and they were excited about the field, what they were doing, what's happening in the technology space. So It was very, very refreshing for me. I met a lot of sisters there. Our sisters lunch grew from just a few hundred to now this past year in 2015 was 500. So it is an amazing community to stay connected with. We get a lot of mentoring, formal and informal, a lot of job information. We do have a job listing in Sisters. We also, a lot of people find interns and their next career opportunity or a partner in their research. So it's a wide variety of opportunities that you can engage with even after Grace Hopper. I'm going to share my screen now. Let's see, where am I going to share it here? I think this is the one I want to share. So if you haven't been to our website, which I'm sure most of you have already, if you go to AnitaBorg.org, and the first link on the page is how to get involved. So if you click on that link, you'll see there's going to be additional links on the right-hand side. It's called Get Involved. And if I click on Sisters, we have a whole slew of opportunities for you to get involved. There's a background about Sisters. You can read about the original 12. You can actually join the Sisters community. There's a link at the very bottom. But also there is how you can explore the various communities that we have. So we have Sisters communities that are some of our affinity communities. We realize and recognize that women, particularly women of color, are at the intersection of a lot of challenges in their life. So it's not enough that we are women. We also have the additional challenge, myself, as being a Black woman also. So we have various groups you can read about and join if you'd like. Some of them have Twitter handles. Some of them have Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups. So be sure to reach out. We do have technical interests opportunities here. There's one for entrepreneurs if you're interested down that space to work for yourself and create products. There is a community specific for Tech Talk. We do have a good number of sisters that are involved in Internet Engineering Task Force, and this is all about really making the internet having some or at least participating and contributing on how the internet is going to be now and in the future. So that's something that you maybe want to get involved in. We do have, I'll talk about a little bit more about our free and open source programs. We participated in Google Summer of Code. We have a new program that we've applied to, so we're keeping our fingers crossed. Student researchers, that is basically 2 years old, but we found out that a lot of students, computer science students, want to take the research path, so that's a great community and they're very engaged. We also have a Sisters Wikipedia. We do contribute. A lot of us contribute to Wikipedia, so but the environment is not so inviting. So we have a safe space for anyone who contributes to Wikipedia. Some of our initiatives that we have going on in Sisters, the Pass It On Award. Now this award you can use towards school supplies. It's very small, 500 to 1,000, but that can help little bit help if you're, I'm a first generation college graduate. And so my parents couldn't afford to send me to school. So I had to work 2 jobs to actually go to put myself through school. So any little bit helps with books or supplies or lab fees. But you can also use it for workshop. We've seen a lot of women who actually use it for workshop, some of attending conferences, because I know conferences can be expensive. And just a whole slew of things. The one thing about the Pass It On Award is that, number one, sisters have a moral obligation to pass on the benefits that we have received from being just part of Sister. And number two, you have to use the funds to help women or girls. So if you have a program that you have on campus that you want to use for, maybe you couldn't get funding to host a workshop or a hackathon, that is most certainly eligible to apply. Our Best of Sisters blog, Our Best of Sisters blog, the sisters, we have an email list, and that is our primary, I guess, tool, if you will. That list is actually very private. So what you say in Sisters stays in Sisters. And it's a safe space for people for women who really are having challenges, but also just want to connect with women. So so the Best of Sisters blog is really taking that privacy conversation and putting it into a more public forum. And we do have a very stringent procedure to do that. We ask everyone's permission, how they want to be acknowledged, if they want to be acknowledged, and then how they want their quote to be used. So we protect everyone who participates, but we recognize that it can help a lot of women, not just women technologists, but a lot of women outside of the sister space. Anita's Quilt was actually started by our Board of Advisory Committee. And so they actually started with one story, and one story is Anita's story. And so if you recognize a quilt, it just builds a little patch here and there. And the theme behind it is threads of inspiration. So we gather stories from women in the community to share their stories about their career path, because everyone is different, but we can all learn from each other. And that's one of the things that's so unique about us. Sisters open source community, I'll talk a little bit about our open source program and how we participate. And then we also do mentoring with Google Summer of Code. We've mentored in the past. We've actually going to apply for the Google Summer of Code to participate as a mentoring organization in 2016. The application's open, and we're hoping that we are accepted again. So I'm going to take you over to our open source program, and this is really our wiki. This is where a lot of our work is done and how we post and inform the community. You can read about this. I believe this is posted here somewhere. If I go back to the Sisters main page here, I believe our wiki is, it's posted here somewhere, so I'll figure it out. But it's really sisters.org/sisters-dev, and it's because we have a development environment. It's our open source environment. So you can read about all the programs that we've participated in, how we're contributing, and get involved. Again, we participate in 2 formal programs, which is the Sisters Google Summer of Code. We are going to apply next year, but all of our past participation and information about the students, the mentors, the projects are all located here. We just submitted our application for Google Code In, which is a program for 13 to 18-year-olds. So my son actually participated in Google Code In when he was a sophomore in high school. This is quite unique because our outreach is actually going to be for girls 13 to 18-year-olds. So, but this can actually, the way it works is that students pick and choose their tasks that they want to participate in, and then they complete their tasks, and we have to grade them on their on completing their task. Both programs are actually virtual. They're all virtual. And so this is something that you can participate in while you're in school or for the summer. For the Google Summer of Code, they actually it is actually similar to an internship. You actually get a stipend, $5,500, I believe. A stipend if you're accepted. You have to go through a midterm and a final evaluation. You have to submit your coding samples and meet with your mentors on a very weekly basis. But when you look further into, let's say, just this year, you'll see a lot of all of our projects. Let me go to a project assignment page. A lot of our projects are incredible projects, mobile, web. There's some automated testing work that's been done. We do partner with Peace Corps to actually contribute to projects that they are needing for their volunteers and staff members. And if you get a glimpse of our project assignments, you'll see that you'll be working on a very global teams. So everyone's virtual. So the challenges is always, you know, the time zones and cultural and language often. So, but that's real world. So you get that engagement very early on with this program. You can find information about Google Code In and Google Summer of Code if you go to google-melange.com. Again, I'm going to forward all of this to Rhonda, and she can forward it out to you or post it. I can certainly post it on the Plus page where this event is at as well, is located. But also visit our GitHub. We have a GitHub page, and that's where a lot of our sisters and women, not necessarily sisters, but want to contribute and want to learn. So what we typically try to do, if you want to learn a particular language or you want to learn, you know, how to project management or communication, we always pair you with a mentor, either a technical mentor. So with Google Summer of Code, we try to give you 2 to 3 mentors. So there'll be a project mentor, there'll be a technical mentor, and then maybe an additional technical or a career mentor. We actually hosted our first student from the United States Military Academy this past summer. She could not participate in Google Summer of Code, so we do mentor. We do have a program for mentoring in development languages as well. You can look through our sisters GitHub page. It's just github.com/sisters. See all the many projects that we're doing, that we're engaged in and contributing to. These are very active. These are all active projects. Our teams on the right-hand side, they're all very engaged and will answer any questions that you have. And if you want to just jump right in, you just post something on any one of the projects and say, hey, I want to contribute. How can I get started? And you will pretty much see a response fairly quickly on that. So those are the more technical and community-driven opportunities for you to stay engaged with ABI. Many of our sisters do participate at Grace Hopper, and a lot of the, you know, women who code, girls who code, we're mentors for girls who code. All of our sub-communities do a lot of different things at a local level. And so this is a good segue into the ABI.locals. Melissa, did you want to talk about ABI.locals or?
Sure. And Rose, are you gonna
yeah, let me stop sharing. Hold on just one second.
Well, no, I mean, can you share? Because that would be the, yeah.
Sure. You tell me where to go.
Yeah, so I think I'd start from the page, the get involved that Rose pointed out, just to kind of reiterate that again. So the anitaborg.org/get-involved. The link from there. That's okay. I think if you can click.
Okay.
So we're dropped down into social networks, but if you see what Rose was highlighting again on the right there, the get involved, you've got, those are the links to the ABI social network, the sisters, the ABI.local events. We also talk a little bit about Lean In circles, and then we also have a career board. But I think, you know, what we're focused on right now is if you click on the link to ABI.local, so go back, just scroll down a little bit. And then just click on the link to ABI.local, which is right here under Get Involved. So all of our things are under Get Involved. Talk about that for a minute. And then as you notice, there's a big sign up that we're in beta, which we are. So this is a great time to be checking out ABI.local and seeing what cities are there for you. And in fact, I could probably just drive it. What cities already have ABI.locals. But I think I want to focus first, before I start going through the elements of the site. You know, this is really, as we mentioned before, about bringing sort of some of the ABI, the Anita Borg Institute experience to your backyard, to a place where you can focus on things that are important to your community, be it, organizationally focused. Maybe there's a certain technology development that goes on in your area, or maybe there's more of a social good type stuff that's going on that's not so tied to particular organizations. This is an opportunity to use some of our programs. We provide those as well through this website, but then to customize it to really fit where you're at in your community. So we're in beta, and I would really invite you to explore this site. I'll take you through a little of the highlights, but I don't feel like that's I really want you just to go explore it. And if you see, we've got a link here to help us make this site great, and there's also a feedback button down here. We really, really want your feedback. And that's everything from, hey, this feature isn't working, I don't even understand what's going on, to what if you had this, like different ideas that you have. And I also, I've been kind of checking it out on my mobile device. I know many of you scholars are, that's your primary go-to rather than the PC. Would really love to have you do all of this from your phone, from your smartphone, and give us feedback there too, of like what's working on the phone, what can you see, not see, that kind of stuff. So let's talk about the cities. I talked about backyards. So here are some of the backyards that we're looking at. So we have cities that have already signed up and have communities going are Houston, Boston, DC, Chicago. We have Delhi in India, New York, Silicon Valley, London. So you can see we are starting to get some international in Austin, Los Angeles. And there are more that have already signed up that aren't up here yet. So what we invite you to do, if you are in any of these areas, to go and learn more and check it out. You can see the members that are there and get connected through the ABI.local site to this community. And if you're not yet connected, to let us know. You can learn more here on the site about how to share your interest in doing that. So you can also check out the people that are part of the ABI.local, that kind of thing. And then you can see, forums, events, blogs. I'm sure you can figure out what those are about. We have forums that go across the community as well as forums that are specific to the cities. Same with events, and same with the blogging as well. But the forums, versus the blogs are really, if a Houston or a London has things that they're sending out to their community, or they even have blog writers sending out information and posts. And the forums are really more of those discussions, places for the whole community to come together and discuss topics of interest to them. So,
can I add a little?
Yes, please.
Example also. So our first community that we did a pilot with was New York. And everyone knows of the technical companies that are in Silicon Valley. But in New York, you have more financial organizations and companies. Those are actually really great technical companies as well. So you have like Morgan Stanley, you have Goldman Sachs. Some of the financial hub is in New York. So their focus was really trying to bring all of the technical companies as well as what really fits in and the focus in New York. Los Angeles, that was probably the second community to come on board. Los Angeles has a great technical community as well. Their focus was entertainment, of course. So you have the Disney, you have the MSNBCs, and a lot of the entertainment space, but really heavy on the technical side. So you got to think about that, how we're actually applying it to ABI and how our programs are actually going to be applied. Chicago was very unique as well. No one thinks that that's a really great technical community as well. I can't remember, we had a meetup there, and they actually had a GHC viewing party there as well. So they're very tight knit. Houston doesn't have really the big technical companies that are located there, but they do have NASA, they do have IBM, and they're really forward thinking in the healthcare IT space. So a lot of it's going to be very different. So if you're working in any of those spaces or doing research, or your interest in while you're in school is going towards that, it may be feasible for you to even just join a community and listen and figure out, what's going on, because it may be very useful for you down the road. So that's really an advantage of maybe not having something that's not ready there, but you can certainly join join a city and just figure out what's going on. A lot of us sisters, we travel. So if I'm in Chicago, I certainly want to reach out to people who are in Chicago. So that's really a great way also to get connected while you're on travel. A lot of us do travel, so.
Yeah, I think what Rose is saying is a really good point, because that's like the power of community, right? Is that you have these spaces that can be concentrated in an area, a physical area, and have particular like entertainment in Los Angeles and finance in New York and a lot of others. But then you can connect, so you don't live in New York. It doesn't matter if you're like into finance and you live in Sioux City, Iowa, and want to participate in that community, you can still do that, even though you're not physically in that location, right? And then there's also this really beauty, I think, in communities that you can learn from each other. So the more communities we have, I can definitely see, interactions across communities that have a lot, like Chicago. I've dealt with a lot of those, and there's a lot of publishing and technology around publishing in the Chicago and Midwest area. And so that, that can be a community that connects with another community around technical issues that affect both of theirs, for example. So, do we have any questions? Okay.
Did you
feel free to ask questions?
Are you, Melissa, maybe talk about the Lean In circle, or
Yeah, I'll bring that up, a little bit, and even some of the curriculum that's coming as well very shortly. So
that's great.
So we have a relationship with Lean In as well, and basically those are, so if you know Lean In at all, that organization, the way they do their communities is to try to focus more on really small groups. So bringing groups of women together to connect over different topics, I would say. So they have kind of a collection of resources. You can start with those. But it's really this idea of so they go out and kind of recruit around students. They go to campuses. Maybe some of you have seen them at your campus. So Facebook and LinkedIn are also partners. And they've gone and recruited, because a lot of this is already happening locally, but they're not benefiting what we just talked about, kind of the power of communities, is to have sort of more people, having a mentorship. You can get coaches there, you can connect, but bringing your kind of like your group of friends, 8 to 10 people, is kind of what they advocate, to do a variety of things together, almost like a little a book group focused on but on tech, and what do you want to do, what do you want to achieve, whether it's in a class, learning a particular thing, getting ready for the job market, or once you're in the job market, how can you support each other with a small group. So we have partnered with them, and we see a lot of interesting potential between the ABI.local and the Lean In focus, because they are they're compatible, but they're kind of different approaches to things. Then we also have curriculum. It was great to see Rose highlighted some of the hackathons and the different projects that are going on from a technical ways you can get involved and work on technical projects. We also have some curriculum that focuses a little more on the professional piece of, the first one is the technical interview. And it'll have video. In fact, I could actually, we won't worry about sharing right now. We'll skip that. I have a graphic of this, but it's they're modules, and they're very condensed elements that have video, connected activities, so collaborative activities that you would do with a small group. Like you could do it in Lean In, you could do it as a large group in ABI.local, or even with Sisters. that you do these connect activities that are associated with like the technical interview. You see, elements of what happens in a technical interview, and you get to practice and participate in those with your colleagues, give each other feedback, and then have tips and resources. So if I kind of decide, it's like this module that then kind of breaks apart, and you can use the pieces as you need them. So say you're going into the technical interview and you're like, remind me what I'm supposed to do in front of a whiteboard again. Could I have those tips real fast? And so on your phone or whatever, you can access those right in the moment. So it's both the collaborative as well as the just-in-time stuff.
Okay. Do you have anything else you want to cover? Or?
I don't know if there's anything else. I think we've hit the main highlights.
Rose, is there anything more that you would like to cover?
I probably just want to do a quick rundown of our timeline. We're CS Ed Week, which is Computer Science Education Week, is coming up in December. It's always during Grace Hopper's birthday, so we always, as a community, celebrate this. We participate in Hour of Code. Hour of Code actually has great curriculum for you to do something on, learn a new language or learn something as a group. There are a lot of our community members are leading other initiatives that you probably have already heard of, like Pie Ladies and Rails Girls, Lady Storm hackathons. Get involved and get engaged. But as a community, we are always participating, doing something together to really promote that we are present in this field, that we can contribute, and we are innovators, and not just technologies, but innovators as well. January 17th is Anita Borg's birthday. So we definitely, December 9th is Grace Hopper's birthday. January 17th is Anita Borg's birthday, and you usually encourage everyone to meet up. That particular one is usually a +1 male or +1, just bring a plus one, maybe another student who may not be majoring in computer science, but maybe is in art. Believe it or not, computer science touches on every aspect of what we're doing currently in the world. So because they're not majoring in computer science doesn't mean that they're not going to be touching on technology at some point. So always bring a +1 in January for Anita Borg's birthday. Our Grace Hopper application or our submissions open in January too, in late January. So we encourage people to have like a submission party. Maybe have a submission party on campus in February. The applications, again, for GHC scholarships, I believe open around May or April.
The scholarship for GHC this year will be sometime in January.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. So then, in addition to holding a submission party, maybe also hosting a application review party or something, so that you can get people to apply, encourage them to apply, but also maybe help out someone who may have some, may be hesitant about applying or have that thought of maybe I won't get accepted, that kind of thing. That's real, because people do that all the time, and we can't say no unless you apply. So those are the next 3 things that are on the agenda from a community perspective. So keep that in mind also. Lots of things going on, and how to get involved. So it's great stuff.
Okay, Rose, we're hearing that our stream is stopped, but we still show that we're broadcasting and it's live. So we're gonna try and figure it out, but we're gonna continue going. Yeah, I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's happened to our feed, because we still have internet, we still have the broadcast going, and it does still show live. So regardless, I think it's recording.
It is.
And then it'll be found on YouTube afterwards. So it will be available for everyone.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay, so if we have nothing else to cover, we can go ahead and stop for today. If they have any questions, they can always email us. They can email either the academic initiatives team or specifically to anyone. And if you have questions, you can do the GHC's what is it? GHC's Scholar. I'm drawing a blank. Scholarship contact, and I will make sure that if it's for Melissa or for Rose, I'll get it to them. So if you have very specific questions, we'll make sure we get that. Rose is going to send me some information, and I'll send that out in email to everyone so that you'll have the information. Remember, it's not that you have to sign up today, but you'll have the information and you'll be able to do it whenever you have the time to do it. We know people are taking midterms right now and getting ready for the holidays and stuff, but the sooner you become connected, the sooner that you'll have the support that you need to be successful, or to help in your success, I should say, in your communities, because you're not alone. There's all sorts of support out there for you, and we want to make sure that you're connected to the right networking. So at this point, I'd like to thank Melissa and Rose. You did a great job, ladies, and thank you so much for presenting this to our scholars. And I hope our scholars got a lot out of it too, because it's really good information to stay connected. Because, Grace Hopper, the conference, is every October, but there's a lot of months in between. So it's really important for us to have that support between November and September. So keep strong out there, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Thanks for having us, Rhonda. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.